Hello and welcome to the 2024 Road to the Zelich. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, pretty much ever since last year ended. Last year, if you didn't watch, didn't quite go the way I hoped from a performance standpoint, from a results standpoint. Going into last year, I thought, you know what? I think I can win some tournaments here. Yeah, that just wasn't the case. Got a couple runner-up finishes, but couldn't quite get over the hump.
And this is where I'd put a trophy, if I had one.
But learned a lot. Learned a lot of things about my swing, about my game, how I handled tournament pressure, decision making, and just nerves and just certain things about playing tournament golf. We're gonna put that into practice this year. I learned a lot from last year. I've got high expectations. Like, I think this season is gonna go well. Now, if you're new, the Road to the Zelich video series is a series of me chronicling my, I think attempt would probably be the best word to describe it, my attempt to get my game into the best shape possible for what I would consider my biggest tournament of the year, the Mark Zelich Golf Classic. That happens in late July. So we have some time. We got a road to travel before we get there to improve the best we can. We've already started off with one tournament. I will break that down for you here shortly, but just a quick look at the road here. I've got 9 tournaments I'm gonna be playing between now and the Zelich. So this is kind of what we're gonna chronicle, how I play in all of these tournaments, what I learn, how I finish. Hopefully some wins are in there. First tournament of the season just concluded at a course I was originally planning on playing a couple years ago in our Lake Michigan Loop series. And unfortunately at that point, we couldn't play it because they were closed the day we were going to play it. So we ended up making an audible and playing American Dunes, which was another Jack Nicklaus course, great course. But I wanted to get back and play Harbor Shores at some point. Saw it on the schedule this year. I decided to make the trip and play it this year. And it ended up being a pretty darn good trip. I ended up finishing tied second place. And the funny thing is, like, I didn't really play very well, or I didn't strike the ball very well. I don't know if it was just kind of the hard, sandy, firm turf there, at least this early in the season. I was just thinning the ball all over the place. So for me to put together a decent score, relatively speaking, I'm pretty happy about that. Now, it didn't start off good. I ended up shooting a 50 on the front. I started off with 2 straight pars, and if you remember last year, one of the things that really bugged me about last year was basically every single tournament round, I was starting off with like a double bogey. It was just an annoying way to get started into the round. So we've already improved in that aspect. I started par, and if you ask me if, you know, I was gonna shoot a 50 after parring the first 2 holes on the front 9, I would have not believed you, but it ended up happening. It kind of started on the 3rd hole. It's a drivable par 4, and it's just kind of uncomfortable because there's water all along the left side, but there's a bunch of bunkers. Basically, I put it into a bunker in my drive about 60 yards from this narrow, small green. And I don't know about you, but a 60-yard fairway bunker shot to a small green with water behind it, that's not my idea of a fun shot. I ended up getting a double bogey on that hole, and then kind of the rest of the front 9, I just kind of was compounding errors and mistakes. Like I said, I wasn't hitting the ball well. On the par 5 5th, I ended up like shanking 2 straight balls into the water and getting a triple on that hole. It was just bad. Now, the conditions were tough. It was like mid 40s for the weather and windy off the lake, so that wasn't really helping. But yeah, that front 9 just didn't go my way. And even if I was like missing the water, which there was, you know, a lot of hazards around, and I did a pretty good job outside that 5th hole where I shanked the 2 balls into the water. I did a pretty good job staying away from the hazards, but unfortunately, having never played there before, I found myself in some like precarious spots where it was like I was short-sighted, having to hit over a bunker to not a whole lot of room, green that sloped away from me. Like, it was some tough spots. Like, that course just in general, that's a tough course. It's a very uncomfortable course. You have to know where all the trouble is. There's a reason why the the Senior PGA Championship is being hosted there in about a month. Yeah, it's a tough course. Now, if you can do basic math, you'll probably realize I ended up having a pretty good back 9. Shot a 39, 2 birdies on the 2 par 5s, certainly helped. First one being on the famous hole, I'm sure you've seen the video a bunch of times, but Jack Nicklaus making that like 100-foot putt after Johnny Miller was like, this is impossible putt. Yeah, I ended up birdieing that hole. Thankfully, the pin was on the lower half of that green. I'm telling you right now, that green is absolutely ridiculous. I kind of understand where Johnny Miller is coming from. Camera doesn't do it justice. I took a couple pictures hoping it kind of shows you how severe that slope is. It's insane. But yeah, got a birdie on that hole, so pretty happy about that. And then yeah, I didn't really hit the ball any better. I was still thinning shots, but I was staying away from trouble. I wasn't really compounding errors. And then the 15th hole, par 5, pretty proud of this. Looking at this hole, I thought, you know what? I'm probably gonna lay up on this hole because to carry the river to the green on a par 5, like that's gonna take a really good shot. When I got into that situation, I hit a good drive and I had a good number in, even though I wasn't hitting the ball well. I had the wind behind me. I thought, you know what, let's take this shot. Let's be aggressive here. I know the game plan originally was to lay up, but we have a lot of things going for me in this shot in this moment. And of course, they're kind of building the grandstands there behind the back of the green. So I thought, you know what, kind of put yourself in that mindset as like, what if, you know, that grandstand is full of people, like they kind of want to see something happen. So I pulled off the shot, hit it onto the green into under regulation, and then 2-putted for the birdie. Ended up getting a skin for that hole as well. So yeah, it was good. So I salvaged the round and the tournament with that back 9. Yeah, I ended up only losing by a single shot after shooting a 50. So, you know, when I didn't have my best game, when I was basically thinning the ball everywhere with my irons, to be able to score and do well, even with that going on, like that's confidence boosting. And if this is like the worst that happens, yeah, we're gonna get some wins this year. So I'm excited for the rest of this road to go with how this has started. I feel like we've started on a pretty good note, minus the 50 on the front. Overall, it's a good start. I got a lot of confidence how I want to play, what I need to do to play my best and score my best, and I think that'll pay off once I actually start striking the ball a little bit better. Yeah, excited for this year. 8 more tournaments to go before the Zelich. Lots to work on, lots to improve on. We're gonna do that work. We're gonna play, we're gonna compete. But yeah, stick around if you're excited like me, because I'm definitely excited. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe. Appreciate that as always. But most importantly, stay safe, make good decisions, and keep hitting them straight while also not thinning it, preferably.